So you are going to have arc length question for sure. Not for sure, but I think they will have arc length question. Like Winston says, there's an arc length question. The best way to think about arc length is thinking about circumference. You guys need to know what the circumference of a circle is. You need to know. Oh, let's start with area of circle. Area of circle is equal to pi r squared. The circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. You need to know this. Now, area of sector means like, let's say 3 slices of pizza will be the area, right? Area of sector is a percentage of circle times the area of circle. And the arc length is a percentage of circle times circumference of circle. Circumference of circle. Okay. So what do you mean by percentage? Well, percentage basically compose about a central angle. So that just say if I have this circle right here, and I have this is the center, and that just say if I have this, and I have that says 80 degrees, so 80 degrees is a little bit less than, it's like 80 degrees like this, and I want to find out this area. So be careful how the way is worded. I kind of tricky, kind of think about it, and you say, oh, okay, well, this means this. Okay, so, and then that just say this, I want to find out area shaded region. Let's say this one is 8. And can you find the area shaded region? How many of you guys can, how many of you guys cannot? Those of you guys cannot, raise your hand. How do I find the area shaded region? You cannot? Those of you guys can, raise your hand. If you can, raise your hand. No ways. Okay. So that's more decisive. Amelia, Saphir, and Max, and Alex. So only 3 people can do it. How about what happened to the rest of you guys?
I'm thinking about
it. Okay, that's fine. So you gotta pay attention to the central angle. In this case, central angle is actually not 80. The central angle is gonna be what? 280. It's coming from here to here. So think about this is 360 slices of pizza. Then can you say, well, I just have 280 slices of pizza, right? Over 360 slices of pizza. That is a percentage of a pizza. Does that make sense? And then all you gotta do is times by this area, which is pi r squared. So pi times 8 squared. And all you gotta do is simplify. So that's gonna be 28 over 36 times 64 pi. And that's gonna be divided by 4. That's a 7 over 9 times 64 pi. And I don't know what 7 times 64, so 420. 448 pi over 9, right? I don't know. Somebody double check my math. 64 times 7 is 82. 42, so 44. 48 pi over 9. Does this make sense? That's just area of a sector. It's a percentage of a circle multiplied by area. So area of a circle, you already know. Now, this is your central angle because those are the things I'm interested about that. Think about that 360 slice of pizza, you can actually do this. Laura, do you know how to do it? Yeah. Okay. Good. Now, just say instead of finding the area of a circle, I want to find the crust of the pizza, like a crust. The crust means this. The arc length, the crust, right? The crust is only in the edge, right? The crust is only in the edge, right? So in the same situation, it's pretty much for the arc length, you think about it's a crust of the pizza, right? But you still do the same thing because you can say arc length is equal to 280 over 360 and times 2 pi times 8. So that'll be like, okay, well, because this is 2 pi r. 2 pi r is diameter times pi. So you can actually work out, so it'll be 28 over 36 again, times 16 pi. And that's down to 7 over 9 times 16 pi. And that down to 112 pi over 9. So this is the length. So if in centimeter, this will be centimeter. But this in centimeter, this will be centimeter square because that's the area representing. So you can have two things, arc length or percentage of circle. Does that make sense? Now in pre-calc, they do have another equation to help you find the arc length in pre-calc. In pre-calc, they do have this equation, but I don't like to use it. I actually prefer this equation because it's much more intuitive. But in case you want to find out what a pre-calc arc length question is going to look like, is equal to S equal to R theta. This is the arc length. And the R, it has to be radius. And the theta has to be in radian. And you're going to get the exact same answer. So we're going to try two different ways and see which one's better, right? But we're going to give you that something that's more manageable. Let's say if I have this and like this. And this is 120 degrees. Okay? And we say, hey, we just want to find the arc length, which is this length here. Okay? And the radius, let's just say is, I don't know, 12. Okay? Can you find the arc length? Actually, on SAT, sometimes they ask you the perimeter of this. So you're going to add 12 and 12. So you're going to add the arc length plus the 12 and 12. Does that make sense? If I ask perimeter of the shape rather than arc length of their shape, it's a little bit different. Just so you know, those practice exams is going to give you some overestimate of SAT score. So if you score like say 1350, that doesn't guarantee you're going to get 1350. So I will say all the tests is about deviation about 40 points. So if you score 1350, you might end up to get 1300. So you want to increase that even higher. If you score 1350 and your goal is 1330, you want it to be at 1400 on each of your tests. So I want you to try two different ways to get this. One is the one that we talked about, which is pretty easy, right? Percentage of a circle. What's the percentage here? About 33.333%, right? Because it's 120 over 360, right? Do you guys get that? Times, well, times 2 pi r. Times 2 pi r. R is 12, right? So that's equal to 1/3 times 24 pi. And the answer is what? 8 pi, right? Now let's use this equation. S equal to R theta. R is equal to what? 12. What is theta? 120 degrees is what? 2 pi over 3? Sorry, it's 2 pi over 3. And 3 and this cancel out 4 and it's 8 pi. The calculation roughly the same, but you had to memorize that formula, which is I prefer to memorize percentage of circle just times by circumference. I think it's an easier way to approach something. Okay, but you gotta make sure the theta cannot be in degree, it has to be in radian. Yes.
Mr. Ye, why did you just put like 120 degrees? Like I thought we had a subtract it.
No, because we are looking for this area. So this becomes the central angle. The other one is the central angle. The central angle is from here to here. This one's 80. This give you a false ideas because you're looking for the other side. Does that make sense? You look at shaded region for the central angle. Did I help you?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions? Yes? Any questions? So we know how to find area of sector. We know how to find arc length. Next thing is, do you know the equation of a circle? Now, this is supposed to teach conic. I used to spend about 10 days talk about conic, but I don't have time to talk about conics. But I can give you a very, very fast view about circle. The circle equation is going to look like this. X minus h square plus y minus k square is equal to r square. How many of you guys have seen this equation before? So this is called circle equation. This is on SAT. But you need to know how to complete a square and things like that. But sometimes they just say, oh yeah, what does the following graph look like? So this is going to be x minus 2 square plus y plus 3 square equal to 9. And you say, hey, which one following graph make like this? But now since you have decimals, they're not going to ask this question like that. Since you have decimal, they're not going to ask the question like, because you can type in the decimal, they'll graph for you, right? You can pick an answer really easily. However, this one, it means inside the parentheses always opposite. So there's the center is going to be 2 comma negative 3. This is the center. Does that make sense? And the radius is equal to square root of 9, which is equal to 3. So basically, if I were to graph by hand, which is in my test, I usually ask students to graph by hand. This is going to be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is your center. And radius, I'm just going to go 3 here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here.
Like negative 3.
Oh, you're right. Thank you. I can't read. Negative 3. Thank you here. So 2, negative 3. The radius is going to be here, 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 here. And that would be the circle. Now, unfortunately, SAT is not going to give you like that. SAT usually asks you to complete the square. So SAT will give you a something called general form. It looks like this: x squared minus 8x plus y squared plus 10y is equal to 8. Okay, so it's equal to 8. And they say, hey, can you find center of the circle? Can you find the center of the circle? Now, if you have Desmos, you still can graph it. You can still estimate the center, right? But it will be better to ask. The question will be better to ask is, what will be the circumference of the circle? Then you have to find a way to do those questions. So that means you have to know how to complete the squares. So, and I'll give you a practice question. Negative ax plus y squared plus 10y is equal to 8. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this negative 8 and you're going to divide it by 2 square. Remember, beginning of the year, I asked you to complete the square. Take the middle, divide by 2 square. Do you remember that? That's equal to negative 4 square. That's equal to 16. Is that okay? So you must plus 16 here, and you must plus 16 to the other side. Because you're adding on both sides of the equations. You're going to do the same thing here. 10 divided by 2 square, that's equal to 5 square, that's equal to 25. So I'm going to add 25 on this side, and I'm going to add 25 to the other side. So then you want to factor this. How do I factor this? Just take this. It says x minus 4 square plus y plus 5 square. That's equal to 24 plus 25 is 49. Do you see how to complete the square now? Now that's going to give you center at 4, negative 5. And radius is going to be what? 7. So how do I find the circumference? Circumference equal to 2 pi r. So 2 pi times 7. So answer is 14 pi. Can I find the area of a circle? Yeah. Pi r squared. So it'll be 49 pi. So I can find out all the information. Now remember, SAT not going to ask you a certain question all the time. They're going to change. You're going to have to learn to adopt. But you got to understand the concept. How many of you guys think I go too fast? Okay, which part you need me to go slower?
I just need to write it down.
Okay.
Mr. Young, can you explain like why you did like 8/2 again?
That's how you complete a square. Middle divided by 2 square. Any question about this part? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to find area of the circle. X squared minus 12x plus y squared plus 2x is equal to 27, I think.
Would it be 2y?
Yeah, 2y, you're right. So can you find the circumference? Can you find the area of a circle? Find area of a circle. And can find center of a circle too. Now, at end of the year, before after we finish the exam, I'm gonna go back to talk about conics, which is ellipse, hyperbola, and parabola. It has a lot of actual application. For example, satellite has a lot of application, like how the Earth's orbit is elliptical orbit. It has It has all the other things, but yeah. So can you find area of a circle and can you find center of a circle? Center. Area of circle and center of a circle. Did I talk about distance formula in this class? Feel like I did. So in your SAT, you have to know distance formula as well as a midpoint. And those are easy stuff. But I can apply to this question. But I just cannot find the questions. I think I know what the question is. Oh, I found it.
How'd you get 40?
No, that's physical, but I didn't have to.
Anybody else besides Denisha finish the SAT? You did? I need to look at it.
So you played it with square, right? Yeah. You added you don't
Find the area.
there you see part of square. And find the radius.
I know the radius.
If you got it, help your group. Make sure everybody in your group understand. Diego, make sure you stay awake. Try to understand. You got it?
Yeah. So it has an aspect six.
Dasnia, can you check Diego's work?
Y squared plus 2.
You have permission to beat him.
Here, add plus 1. You got it? Where you said it.
Kick him if he didn't do anything. Elias, you got it or no?
You see how you do it? So, okay, so, oh, my bad, yeah, radius should be 8. You have to do-
Gabby, you got it? Larissa?
Divide by 2.
Like, what's the forms of equation?
Daryl, you got it?
So this gives you negative, that's negative 6. Negative squared. 1. Yes. So do this is 36. 1. Yeah. You add
One area is
36.
6. And then I got 2 properties.
You add this side. And then you take these, you figure the point. Like how they are in the center of the area. But x and y. That's the formula is plus y minus y plus 1. What's that? So this is your formula. Asking for center point. What's center point? Yeah. What's the radius? Remember this? Radius.
Olivia, I got it.
Radius is 8. I have everything. So you find area circle.
Joseph, you got it. All right. So last thing I want to talk about is this is not on SAT, but it's on physics.
So
Okay. So dimension analysis is on the SAT. So this is a little bit of dimension analysis. So let's just have a wheel. I have a wheel like this big. I don't know what's a normal size wheel. Can somebody expert at cars here? Diego, you look like expert at cars.
me?
Yeah,
Cargo room.
cargo bro. Anybody know like what is the diameter of a normal size tire? Laura, what size is your Lexus wheel tire?
I think like a 22. No.
22. Is that radius or a diameter? Radius.
I think it's between 14 and 21 inches.
Pretty big though. I can know that.
Well, I don't know. What's my, like my
It's the
car's about
diameter of the standard car is 15 to 18.
15 to 18.
Inches
Radius or a diameter?
diameter?
Diameter. So diameter.
Diameter.
Really? That's kind of small. 18 inches.
Well, no, it's good. Like the.
That's what.
It says 14 to 21.
Is it diameter or okay, diameter. Okay, fine. We're gonna say diameter is 18 inches. Is that okay? 18 inches. Choose a RPM. Do you guys know what RPM stand for?
Rotation per minute.
Rotation per minute. Choose a number that you think is realistic in your life.
75.
That's too slow.
4,000. 4 rotations per minute.
Let's go with like I don't know 600. 600 revolution per minute. Now I'm gonna ask a very general questions, right? If a car with this is actually a tricky question, guys. You gotta pay attention to the question. I think like a lot of people get it wrong because they don't have idea of understanding. So imagine that both cars have the same exact RPM, revolution per minute, same exact revolution per minute. Okay, both cars. You have two cars. One car with Laura, I cannot talk over you. So one car with a bigger wheel. So let's say this car with 20 inches. But they both running on the same RPM. 600 RPM. They both are running 600 RPM. Which car is going to be faster?
Wait, you used to take on like the big bench stride of the water, but it's
They are the same revolution per minute, both cars. One is they both are 600. One has a bigger rim, a bigger tire, which is 20 inch. And which car is gonna go faster? So I want you guys to take.
Is the car the same? Like, are both cars same?
I don't give a shit what kind of car it is.
Well, if one of them is heavy, they're like,
No, it's a RPM, same RPM, same exact RPM. Which car is gonna go faster? Let me ask the people who vote the smaller tire is gonna be faster. Raise your hand. Smaller tire. Small tire. You have to vote one. You have to vote one. Smaller tire or bigger tire? Who's gonna go faster? Same RPM, different size of tire. Okay. So. Shh. Okay. So Denisha is one. Right. You raise your hand. Keep your hand up so I can count them. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 votes. Okay? Okay. Which person think they're gonna be a same speed? Raise your hand.
They won't say food.
Same speed? You think it's gonna be a same speed? Well, you vote twice. You vote twice.
I can guess myself here. I think.
Okay. Who think the bigger tire is gonna be faster? Okay, now convince each other who's right. Which car is faster?
Yeah.
Oh, who's gonna be faster? Who's gonna reach the other side?
Huh? Oh, it's the bigger one. I think
If you pick a fat guy and a skinny guy, the fat guy's gonna roll slower, so if the fat guy does the same speed as the other guy.
Put a fat guy and going down a hill. Who's going faster?
If they're going the same speed, if they're rotating at the same time, the fat guy's going faster.
Yeah, because if you roll the basketball at the same time, the basketball's right.
Yeah, one rotation.
One rotation plus basketball takes.
Alex, is your question entertaining several?
Yeah.
Very impressive. I remember him asking every single girl on face of Earth out to the prom.
Oh, we win.
Yes, that's what numbers were. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, we gotta show them again. Okay, go. Alright, start this line. One rotation.
If you're willing to increase, I'm willing to definitely right?
One rotation. That one rotation. Makes more sense. That's our science experiment.
Okay, so did anybody change their mind? Let's vote again. Smaller tire faster. Raise your hand.
You know what? Even if I'm wrong, somebody.
I appreciate Cynthia. She's got guts.
I still think it's small, so
Okay, so it's good that you guys have thinking. So there was two type of velocity. So there's two type of velocity. One is called angular velocity. One is called linear velocity. In this case, they have the same angular velocity, but the bigger tires can go faster because they cover more distance per rotation. Just to make sure, like, think about Usain Bolt, right? If you run in the same stride as Usain Bolt, right? But Usain Bolt's stride is like from here to like there. Like me, like one stride of me is like this. If we're running the same stride, he's still gonna be faster than me because we're talking about the condition was the same revolution per minute. Right? Me and Usain Bolt is running the same stride. I can stride just as fast as him, but my leg doesn't do the justice. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there was two type of velocity. One is angular velocity and linear velocity. And you gotta think about, we might not finish this, but we'll finish this Monday. But we're gonna start with 600 revolution per minute. How do I convert this to mile per hour? I bet you guys don't know how to convert to mile per hour. 600 revolution, 18 inches. How do you convert to mile per hour?
How many inches in the mile?
well, here, there's about 70. Is that right? How many people right now?
What?
Whatever it is. So,
How many?
A max is on?
How many? 5, 2, 8, 0.
All right. Huh? Oh, the pass. I never passed this out, but it's a bus pass. It's in my mailbox for longest time. There are a few people. Amelia, Val, Ashley, and Alexander.
How long did it take you? They've been asking for like months.
All right.
He recognizes me.
It's in the mailbox. I just never pick it up.
My mom has been asking me for like 4 months about this.
I never check my mailbox. All right, we're gonna finish talking about this on Monday. Linear velocity versus angular velocity. You have to understand that for me because that's good for physics. If you understand that a little bit. So a car, if it's 600 RPM, that both 600 RPM, that means they both have same angular velocity. But a linear velocity is different. They rotation at same speed, but one rotation can cover more ground with a bigger tire. So if they both cover, one cover more ground, that guy's can go faster. But angular velocity, they are the same. I gotta turn off stream. Nobody remind me. Thanks a lot.